Mutaburuko wa Nyandarua. Orerorera Kameme TV.
Tariki mirongo heri na mugwanja mweri wa gatano mwaka wa 2025 nidoka gumenyithie maingi ma maria tukuharireirie ukinyire ithaa riri nigukumenyithia ciĩgiĩ ruhonge rwa borithi kuri kamiti ya bunge ya budget na mendekithia maria maheanite o ndumwe na riboti ira tukoretwo tukirumirira kuma muthenya wa ira igie kunyitwo migwate kwa mubunge wa Juja ni njitikaga mura wa ndumu na twina wa ngui wa Mwangi thiini wa metha ya utauri itikira kunyitanira na ni thiini wa umemerekia uyu o ginyagira ria ciehanda tha 8 ririkana kuri Facebook ni Kameme TV Kenya o ndumwe na YouTube ni Kameme TV Kenya na yakwa kiumbe ni Mwaura wa ndumu itikira kwaraniria nanie tukiambiriria atongoria a mungithaniro ni makumithitie thirikari na muno makiria ruhonge rwa borithi kurumirira kunyitwo migwate kwa mubunge wa Juja George Koimburi uria uracokire kuonekana mugunda-ini umwe wa Kahua kaunti-ini ya Kiambu atetwo makiaria na andiki a mohoro atongoria ya matongoretio ni Kalonzo Musyoka ni mutongoria wa Wiper na Martha Karua maugite thirikari no irathie na mbere na kunyita a Kenya migwate ona thengia wa kiraniro kia president ciumia nini hituku hoho momenereirie kambuni cia thimu bururi-ini makiuga nicio iraheana riboti kuri borithi kuria mundu ari niguo anyitwo migwate reke tuthikiririe.
Stand before the people of Kenya and the international community, gravely alarmed by the heightened descent of our beloved nation into a state of repression, lawlessness, and political persecution. Despite our persistent calls to end arbitrary arrests, abductions, gross violation of human rights, and extrajudicial killings, the Ruto administration seems to be on a race to the bottom, that is to anarchy. In recent days, the country has been plunged into a disturbing pattern of political repression and targeted violence. Most shocking was the brazen abduction of the Honorable Member of Parliament for Juja constituency, the Honorable George Koimburi, whom we have visited this morning, and who was forcefully taken by unidentified assailants on a Sunday. He had gone to church, only to be later found tortured and dumped in a coffee plantation somewhere in Kiambu, literally fighting for his life.
You see the tattered clothes and things, he's lucky to be alive. And so we have one instrument, Constitution of Kenya 2010. And all public officers, from William Ruto to the police constables, must know that be held accountable under the Constitution. Those rights are so clearly elaborated. And so we want to say shame on anybody who thinks a mheshimiwa like this can abduct himself. And you want us police to believe your story?
Always called for an end to abductions, and we thought when President Ruto, in answer to a question from a foreign journalist saying that they have all come to an end, and all those that have been abducted and safely been returned to their homes and reunited with their families. Only unfortunately to see this latest one of Honorable Koimburi. And just to answer a simple question, on Friday last week, the police who are looking for Honorable Koimburi did not get him. He managed to escape. The police continued to look for him. They arrested his driver. His vehicle is still at the Bodaiga police station. That was Friday. And then on Sunday, he said Troke has to know the people that were hunting for Koimburi on Friday are the same ones who are looking for him on Sunday. It's a simple thing. So, IG Kaja, please, you can tell that story to the bands, not to Kenyans. It doesn't make sense. Abductions and all forms of extrajudicial processes must come to an end in this country.
Kuu ni thibitari-inĩ wa Karen kuria mũmbunge wa Juja George Koimburi agithiĩte na mbere gũkĩamũkĩra ũrigitani. Tũgĩthiĩ na mbere, rũhonge rwa ũcirithania bũrũri-inĩ nĩ rũkĩrĩire mawakiri arĩa makoretwo makĩrũkuruhania na ungumania matarĩ na ũira mũiganu. Amwe a mawakiri arĩa magwetetwo nĩ hamwe na Ahmed Nasir ũrĩa ũkoretwo agĩũkĩrĩra ndundu ya acirithania a igoti itũgĩru. Reke tũthikĩrĩrie.
I wish to issue a statement touching on the persistent attacks on the judiciary. On the 20th of May 2025, the judiciary took the unprecedented step of requesting the Director of Public Prosecutions to call for investigations into the conduct of Senior Counsel Ahmed Nasir Abdullahi, who has consistently disparaged the judiciary, its leadership, and judges with relentless but baseless claims of corruption. Through a series of social media posts over the past months, he has made sensational allegations of judicial corruption, but he has declined to name the concerned judges, nor to table a formal complaint with evidence to the Judicial Service Commission or other law enforcement agencies. Despite these calls, Senior Counsel Ahmed Nasir has resorted to a campaign to disparage the judiciary, its leadership, and senior judges without making any formal complaint, leading us to conclude that he does not have any credible information and is simply besmirching the reputation of the judiciary and its leadership. Kenya is greater than any single individual. No one is above the law. And I repeat, no one is above the law. No one should be allowed to parade their impunity and mock the very constitution that holds the fabric of this country together. We need not remind Kenyans of what can happen when the general populace loses confidence in the court system. We therefore reiterate our call to the Director of Public Prosecutions to take appropriate action within his constitutional mandate. It is important that we defend this constitution. This constitution is for every Kenyan, and it's supposed to help and promote the rule of law and better the lives of all individuals.
Na tugitigana na icio ciĩgiĩ rũhonge rwa magoti, rĩu tũthiĩ rũhonge-inĩ rũngĩ rũrĩa nĩ mbunge. Kamĩtĩ ya mbunge ĩgiĩ bajeti no ĩthiĩte na mbere na ciikaro ciayo cia gũthikĩrĩria mawoni ma honge itiganĩte nĩguo kũrĩkĩrĩria mũtaratara wa kũgaya kĩgĩna gĩa bũrũri bajeti-inĩ ya mwaka twerekeire wa kĩgĩna. Mũthũrimi wa mathabu ma thirikari Nancy Gathũngũ na mũikari gĩtĩ wa kamĩtĩ ya mbunge ĩgiĩ kĩgĩna nĩ amwe arĩa mekinyĩtie ciikaro-inĩ icio ũmũthĩ na mawoni matiganĩte, na ndĩramenyithio gĩikaro kĩu no kĩrathiĩ na mbere gũjĩtĩkĩria tũthiĩ mwena ũcio.
And you can see that in 2023-2024 we had a 6.9% shortfall. And this trend raises some concern on the accuracy of revenue projections in the budget, although the variations are below 10%. Further, I have raised concerns over the challenge of tax revenue collection in my audit reports. The audited revenue accountability statement by the Kenya Revenue Authority indicated tax revenue arrears of Kenya shillings 2.334 trillion as at 30th June 2024. The arrears arise as a result of Kenya Revenue Authority compliance reviews, tax audits, tax due from filing of annual returns, default assessments, and unremitted deductions. The balance of Kenya shillings 2.334 trillion was 1.334 trillion or 133.49% higher than the Kenya shillings 995.6 billion reported as at 30th June 2023. And the balance includes additions in arrears that were not collected for the financial year 2023-2024 of Kenya shillings 2.065 trillion. The amount of Kenya shillings 2.065 trillion relating to the financial year 2023-2024 is equivalent to 91.8% of the total Treasury recurrent revenue collections of Kenya shillings 2.50 trillion for the same period, an indication that the set targets for revenue by the authority are way below the possible tax yield. I would like to point out here, as you've seen in my reports, Honorable Chair, that I have also indicated a lot of disputes between the entities that KRA has indicated owe arrears, where they are confirming that they do not owe arrears or they owe much less than what KRA is seeking from them. The annual revenue shortfalls and high tax arrears indicate a potential fiscal challenge, as revenue generation will most likely not meet initial expectations of budgeted projections. They are also indicators of inadequate revenue planning and forecasting. Indeed, the 2022 Kenya Public Expenditure and Financial Accountability Assessment PEFA report indicated that Kenya's fiscal discipline is weakened by the unreliability of aggregate revenue outturn caused by over-optimistic targets. If the trend continues, it will be difficult to meet the expenditure projections for 2025-2026 without resorting to additional borrowings. We recommend that the National Treasury adopts a more cautious approach to revenue forecasting, taking into account historical trends and potential risks to economic growth. This will avoid overestimating revenue projections and ensure that expenditure commitments are aligned with realistic resource projections. The government should also strengthen tax administration efforts to improve compliance and expand the tax base. And this includes modernizing tax collection systems, enhancing taxpayer services, and addressing tax evasion and avoidance. Honorable Chair, honorable members, with regard to development expenditure projections, the annual estimates for financial year 2025-2026 projects total expenditure and net lending at Kenya shillings 4.24 trillion, which is 22% of GDP, from Kenya shillings 4.07 trillion, which is also 22% of GDP in financial year 24-25, Supplementary Budget 2. Recurrent expenditure is projected to decline from 16.9% of GDP in financial year 2024-2025 Supplementary Budget 2 to 16.2% of GDP in financial year 2025-2026, while development expenditure is expected to increase progressively from 3.8% of GDP to above 4% of GDP over the medium term. Honorable Chair, my team has arrived. I do not know whether it is prudent for them to introduce themselves first.
I think you just proceed.
Documents are being shared. All right. Honorable Chair, our audits indicate that there has been inadequate allocation for development funding and also a significant challenge in absorbing development expenditure. In the financial year 2023-2024, development expenditure was allocated only 15% of Kenya shillings 708.85 billion. We are in paragraph 15, honorable members. In the proposed annual estimates, development expenditure has been allocated Kenya shillings 643.9 billion, which is 25.8% of national government expenditure of Kenya shillings 2.498 trillion, excluding consolidated fund services and transfers to county governments. This, honorable members, is contrary to the provisions of section 50.
Muthurimi wa budgeti Nancy Gathunguri mbere ya kamiti ya budgeti ya bunge eketugukire waki wa farafara ya Isiolo kuria munini wa president Professor Kithure Kindiki athurimite kwambiriria kwa waki wa farafara ya kuma Isiolo ginyagia Mandera town ire kugerera matura takula mawe Mudogashe Kotulo ginyagia Mandera town. Farafara ino ikuhuthira muigana wa shiringi bilioni 100 na igwako na matena 11 kana icunjĩ 11 kuria makontracta mugwanja megukorwo magikuruhanio.
wacha niseme ya kwamba nimefika hapa kuangalia ujenzi wa barabara kuu ambayo ni barabara ya kuunganisha mji wa Isiolo na mji wa Mandera katika sehemu ya kaskazini mashariki. Barabara hii ni barabara ambayo itagharimu bilioni 100 na itaunganisha counties za Isiolo, Meru, Garissa, Wajir na Mandera. Barabara hii ni takriban kilomita 749 na itapitia, ikitoka Isiolo itapitia hapa Kulamawe, kutoka Kulamawe itaendelea mpaka Modogashe, kutoka Modogashe itaendelea mpaka Samatar, kutoka Samatar itaingia mji wa Wajir, kutoka Wajir itaenda Tarbaj, kutoka Tarbaj itaenda Kotulo, kutoka Kotulo itaenda Kobo, kutoka Kobo itaenda Elwak, kutoka Elwak itaenda Gare, kutoka Gare itaenda Ramu, na kutoka Ramu itaingia mji wa Mandera. Hii barabara kama nilivyosema itagharimu takriban bilioni 100 na tunaijenga kuanzia mwezi wa Septemba mwaka wa 2022 ndio ujenzi umeanza, na kwa sababu ni barabara ndefu na tunataka ikamilike katika muda wa miaka miwili, tumeigawanya mara 11, sehemu 11, na tumeipatiana kwa contractor 7. Contractor wengine wako na sehemu moja, wengine sehemu 2. Kwa hivyo contractor ni 7, lakini sehemu sahihi barabara ni 11, ili kuhakikisha kwamba hii barabara inakamilika kwa muda ufaao. Sehemu hii ambayo niko sahihi, nimekuja kuangalia sehemu 2. Kwanza Isiolo Kulamawe ambaye ni takriban kilomita 77 na inagharimu shilingi bilioni 8.3 na tayari lami imeanza kujengwa.
Kou ni kaunti ya Isiolo tuthie kaunti ya Kiambu gicigo-ini kia ubunge gia Gatundu ya muhuro kuria mutumia wa ukuru wa miaka 101 itura-ini ria Ituru gicigo-ini kia ubunge gia Gatundu ya muhuro no hathara haratara thutha wa nyamu itarira kurikana kuhithukira ng'ondu ciake kenda na guciuraga. Mere Wanjiku arokire ota mutugo kuhe ng'ondu ciake mahuti indi arakora inyuitwo thakame na kuragwo ni nyamu ire kuirwo gukorwo ari ngari. Riu aikari a itura riri marahoya KWS kuigiririka ona ihenya.
Mushine kwa Mere Wanjiku itura-ini ria Ituru gicigo-ini mbunge gia Gatundu ya muhuro turamukore thikire na ihuiro ni matarania thutha wa kuonangirwo muthitho wake ni nyamu ire kuirwo gukorwo ari ngari rinyuite thakame na kuraga ng'ondu ciake kenda. Wanjiku ugite ng'ondu cikoretwo ri muitio wake riria arabatara mang'otore na kuninwo gwacio kumutwarĩirie hathara itari gĩthimi akĩrigwo rori na kuthutha wa mwanangĩko ũyũ.
Nemwe ihonokire ciothe kenda cikomete gũkũ thĩ ciĩ mũruruma na tũtiũĩ nĩkĩ gĩcirĩire. Nĩ ithecetwo gũkũ ngingo-inĩ na ikarĩo na gũkũ thutha undu uratũrigithia muno.
No nyende ndihe tondu tariu ndiratwithĩtie thara mũingĩ ũcio akua maita macio 5 na ndiratwithĩtie na gathendi karĩa ũhete we.
Gĩkĩ ti gĩko kĩa mbere nyamu ĩno kũhungura ciugo na kũhukia rũciũ rwa arĩmi itũra-inĩ rĩrĩ. Aikari makiuga makoretwo magĩkaĩra thirikari ĩnyite nyamu ĩno ĩndĩ makaimwo gũtũ na gũtigwo matarĩ na wĩki.
Andũ arĩa mena kĩhoto gĩa gũka kũrora kana gũtũteithia magĩũke nigetha magĩtwĩre ikinya rĩrĩa rĩngĩ tũgũgĩkinyũkia.
Na nĩ njĩrĩga kũrĩrwo mbũri itũra-inĩ o rĩrĩ na ngĩgera ikĩro-inĩ itigarĩte. Ndambire gũthiĩ kwa headman, ngiuma kwa headman akĩndũma borithi, ngiuma borithi akĩndũma maũndũ-inĩ maingĩ ona kĩrĩma mbogo no thiĩte thabarĩ 2 no ndionire kĩhoto gĩakwa. Na ndathire na nginya na mbica ona rĩu no ngĩigĩte mbica icio no kĩhoto gĩakwa nĩ kĩa pugucirwo nderirwo atĩrĩ atĩ ndietire game park matiokire kuona.
Ona makihoyaga kũrĩhwo hathara nĩ thirikari guoya mũnene wa arĩmi nĩ nyamu ĩno kwagagia ciana ciao igĩthiĩ thukuru iria kaingĩ ithiaga thukuru imerĩ itanaitikana gũcokereria kũrĩ na mairia.
Tarĩu korwo cũcũ nĩ aronire nyamũ ĩyo na andũ ake mateithanie morage nyamũ ĩyo rĩ game ĩngĩiyũire gũkũ igĩtũthitanga. Ona niĩ mwenyewe ko hĩndĩ ĩyo ndonire nä ndaiguire na nyume na njäte na andå akwa tå hä tane na nyamå ä yo na tå mä å rage rä ngämu mangä yuire gå kå no ä yo yatwä kä ra hathara matiåkaga na matitå rå mbå yagia
nginya twä na kä ha kä å gitä ri witå na maitå witå nä må kå rå biå na ona rä u kuma harä a tå må igire ndarä aroå kä ra aroima ho nä å rä a arainaina tondå rä u kau nä kararä kaå ndå karä a arekaga gagå ka igakä må kenia rä u ona nä tå rarigwo å rä a tå gå coka tå mwä ke tondå angä ikara atarä kä ndå arerorera nä ekå igua ngoro yake ĩtarĩ njega.
Handũ-inĩ ha Kameme TV kuma Itũũro Gatũndũ ya mũhuro kaunti-inĩ ya Kiambu, rĩtwa rĩakwa nĩ Mathiũ Ndung'u wa Mbũgua.
Tũgakĩhoka kĩrĩro gĩa cũcũ ũcio nĩ gĩkũiguĩka. Munene wa borithi Douglas Kirosho Kanja nĩ athingatĩte mbunge ya bũrũri kũmũihũrĩria ithenya rĩa ciringi bilioni 3.4 bajeti mĩhang'o ya kuoya kurutu a borithi 10,000 icigo-inĩ ciothe cia bũrũri. Kanja erĩte kamĩtĩ ya mbunge ĩgiĩ ũgitĩri wa bũrũri atĩ marongoreirie gũtabania mĩhang'o ĩno kwambĩrĩria mweri ũkĩte nĩguo kũihũria mathenya ma maabitha 4,500 arĩa matigĩte wĩra kumana na mĩthingi ĩtiganĩte. Ningĩ no maratanya kũihũria ithenya rĩrĩ mbere ya gĩthurano kĩa mwaka wa 2027. Reke tũthiĩ cikaro-inĩ icio tũthikĩrĩrie.
About the 10,000 or 5,000, actually, you need to tell us to break down. Is it all constables, or are we going to have cadets? I think you have not responded to that question. Maybe just not, so that I don't take you back and forth. And before I give to the other colleague and probably wrap up, I've noted that we have Kimemia from the National Treasury. Where is he? Did I see him? Yes, Kimemia. You're aware that maybe just not the budget, the all players here, the actors, the NPS, the commission, and even ourselves, we are rooting for 10,000. That's notwithstanding the attrition of 4,500. And the budget to do that stands at around, Sigay, a bit some silence again. Black Beauty, please, silence a bit. We are talking about the budget. Enough budget is about runs at up to 6.3 billion. And we have only in the budget, in the approved estimates, 2.9 billion. Probably, as National Treasury, are you having consideration or plans to enhance the budget, maybe through 223, maybe within the period, through recruitment, to maybe when the people are, of course, upload their meaning into the service. So just note that. And I think I've added one question to the IG, we will add to that. And again to Kimemia, I don't think it's not supposed to be the question. Sigay really talk about how the National Police Service is underfunded. It is a fact that we need really to say, out of the 125 billion in this estimate, hardly 17%. The whole money goes for PEs, salaries, insurance. Hardly 17% of their total budget remains for their for actually the operation. So, and here we are talking of a country, of our very committed, dedicated officers who are always day and night ready to keep Kenya safe, but constraining to perform their duties. And the service commanders are here. I really look at the situation and we pity. And I don't know whether the National Treasury is actually having consideration to see how we address this. We appreciate a very robust, pragmatic program that, of course, is being championed by His Excellency on modernization. It has really gone a long way, a big way to help us combat crime, data, organized crimes. I know we are still behind schedule in terms of the intended budget. Maybe Kimemia will get an opportunity if you can able to say something about the same. And maybe I'll go back to, but the IG just know that. You also need to, I think Sigay also, just to emphasize, the issue within the formation, within the recruit. You know, definitely we are going to discrete further into several units, JSU, KPS, AP, DCI, and the rest. But now what is the plan to make sure that we address the very critical units especially within format unit, specialized unit. Of course, BPU, SOG, RDU, all those units, JSU, and I want to appreciate both of you, your KPS and DIG, and you have been commandants of JSU.
Na ucio ni muikarigiti wa kamiti ya ugitiri mubunge Gabriel Tongoyo hari na gikaro na Inspector General wa borithi gukwishirira ciegie mendekithia ma budget ya ruhonge rwa borithi na riboti yo ni kwamba gututwara ihinda inini ria gwikiria ona igucokereria na mangi maingi ndugacenjie mutabo.